Alright, so in this video we're going to show you how to use a standard button that you add on your HMI system to actually prompt the VBA code to pull up an HTML actual web page, right? So this could be used for many different things, like different like a camera system, or maybe a drive system, or maybe even something like a help files or whatever you need to pull up. This is going to be pulling this up in maximum screen. Now you can do this inside of your actual different screen using a ActiveX object. This is not going to be using the ActiveX object. We're going to do this directly from VBA code in a single button. So it's very easy to do, but there's many, keep in mind, there's many different applications that you want to do this for. I'm going to show you a couple of them. So let's go ahead and open up our actual screen. Alright, so this screen right here happens to be my first screen right here, which is the access control. Now this is using FactoryTalk Site Edition, and the version that I'm currently using is version 10. Doesn't matter which version you're using. Again, when it comes down to it, you're going to be using VBA code. VBA code is standard. As long as VBA code is accepted inside of your FactoryTalk Site Edition, you'll be able to actually use this. Alright, and this is going to be using some default code that Rockwell has on their tech notes, so keep in mind we will be showing how to do this. So this is their best practice, and I'm showing you how to actually use it properly. Alright, so first we want to come up to objects, go to control, and then we're going to go to push button. We're going to add a simple push button. Okay, we're going to draw it out. We don't want any actions. We're going to control this with VBA code, so we don't need any actions. Completely separate, right, from what we normally used to. We would put an action right there. Alright, so come in here, we want to put our caption, and this would be let's put in web page. We're going to make that bold, change that to a font size of 12 just so we can see it. Next thing I want to do is come over here to common. I want to get this where it's something that I understand and I can easily find inside of the VBA code. So I'm going to call this web page, and we'll call this underscore button. Okay. So we'll put an underscore in there so we can actually understand, well, that's what we're going to look for in our VBA code. Okay. Now there's one key thing here we haven't done, and that's enabling the VBA code. So we want to come over here to our properties panel over here on the right hand side and change the exposed to VBA. Change that from not exposed to VBA controlled. That's very important. Okay, so make sure you do that. Again, that's just highlighting the button that you just added, and then coming over here and then going to VBA or going to the properties, going to exposed to VBA or VBA, and then changing it to VBA control. Very simple to do. Now we go ahead, let's save that. Let's do ourselves a favor and right or hover over and highlight the button or the object you want to use the VBA code for. Right click, and that's where you would easily find your VBA code. Right, so if I went up here and I want to find the VBA code for up here, I would go and highlight that up there. Now we're going to go to our button and we want to highlight the VBA code for here, and this brings us to that section that's inside of that actual screen. Now this screen doesn't have a lot of VBA code, so but again, when it comes down to it, I can change that if I want. Alright, so let's add the code that Rockwell has, and I'm going to show you what they do and then what I do. Okay, it's going to highlight a couple different things for you. Alright, so very first thing we need to do is take out these what they did is let me change this to VBA max. Okay, so we're going to take out the commented sections and change the little indicator, because they don't, it actually changes on their web page, so we want to make sure we change it to what the actual VBA code uses, so that it doesn't give us a red error like it does, right? Alright, so just keep that in mind. So commenting is green in VBA code, and then again, so that way we know exactly what we're doing. Okay. Now again, when it comes into it, they used the command of button release, which you could have kept your actual object button release, but I want to show you changing the name, so we deleted that section. Okay, so that's why I'm deleting that. Now let's talk quickly about how this VBA code works. And we're going to get rid of our end sub because we only need one end sub as well. Alright, so now that we've actually corrected that, let's go in here, and this uses the shell function, and it's going to call up in this path, it's going to be Internet Explorer, and the web page. Now I'm not going to use Internet Explorer. You can simply use Internet Explorer just by going to your C drive, going to the programming files or program files, and then searching Internet Explorer and using the exe for that. Let's actually take that back. Okay, so this will be pulling up Rockwell.com, and again, you can pull up real web pages if you have conductivity. I, on the other hand, don't have conductivity, so let me save this and show. All right, so let's come over here. We have our button in here. I've saved it from the VBA code, so I don't need to save the screen. Okay, and keep in mind, in FactoryTalk Site Edition, you're going to have to cycle your screen, right? You're gonna have to cycle your screen so that your changes have then been accepted. They have not accepted but used inside of your HMI. All right, so let's pull this up, and this is going to pull up Internet Explorer, and you can see it tries to open up our Rockwell.com or RockwellAutomation.com, but it can't do it because I don't have connectivity to the internet. So that's very easy. Again, 90% of the time you're not going to do this. I'm going to show you how to do it with Google Chrome, pulling up a couple different just default web pages. Okay, so again, there's many different atmospheres for doing this. So we're going to go back to our VBA code. Now, how do I find Google Chrome? It's a good thing, right? It's a good thing to know. I'm going to right click my Windows tab. I'm going to go up, and I'm using Windows 10, right? I'm going to right click all that, and I'm going to go to File Explorer. I'm going to come over here to my C drive, come over here to Program Files, then I'm going to go to Google, then I'm going to go to Google Chrome. Make sure you go to, at this point, go to Application, and then Chrome, the exe will be right here for the application. So just because of this, and keep in mind, Windows uses a exe file, right? So if we right click this, you can see that it's going to be an exe file. Now what we want is we want the path. Okay, so we're going to grab the path up here, and then we're going to change this portion of the code, the VBA code, to match our path to point to Google Chrome. Now at this point we want to change our the app we're using, and again we will just go over here to properties. We're going to grab the exe, which is Chrome, and we're going to paste that in here. Okay, so with this said, now it's going to pull up Google Chrome. It's going to try to pull up the Rockwell.com or RockwellAutomation.com. So if we did that, we'll come over here to save, and we come over here to refresh our screen again like we're supposed to. Now it's going to pull up Google Chrome, and it's going to try to go to RockwellAutomation.com, but it can't, right? Again, we tried that before. So let's change this to an HTML. Let's change this to like the EB&T card I have pulled up. Okay, and I'm just giving you this as an example. So we'll change that to here. All right, paste that in there. All right, so we have that in here. Now this maximum focus, if you wanted to actually come over here and see how they got that, now keep in mind what you're calling is going to be within the code right here, and then outside of that, after you put the comma to separate everything, you're going to hit VBA, and then you can call the maximum screen, right? So just keep that in mind. We're just going to copy it, right? So we're going to copy this. So if we were to come over here and type in, then we get the actual maximum screen focus, right? So we can just select that. You don't actually have to type it. Okay, so we've saved that. We'll save it real quick. Come over here, refresh our screen, and now we should pull up our actual web page. Okay, so let's go over here. Now we pulled up another instance of our web page. Now I already had it pulled up again, but you can easily see there's two of them. Let's do this as another thing. Just come over here and add this to our actual. This is going to be pulling up a Stratix 5700. Let's do that, right? So let's come over here to our VBA code, and let's change this to a Stratix. Right? So let's change that to that Stratix we have. Come over here, we've saved it, so we only need to come over here and refresh our screen. We're going to pull up our web page. It pulls up. Now it's trying to, obviously a Stratix which you're going to have to sign into, so you can see it's trying to pull that up. Now just keep in mind, you can do this with just about anything, right? Now I'm going to actually point this to a web page that I have for decryption. What I mean by that is decryption for actual source code. Now, so you see it's pulling up the web page. It does take a little bit of time to pull up the web page for the actual Stratix 5700. Alright, so with that said, you can see that that completely works, right? Now let's do ourselves a favor and let's pull up something else. Let's pull up, this is going to be a decryption, and what I'm going to do is, let's just say I want to point in something in my C drive. So I didn't want it web-based, but I want to use the web-based browser, right? I'm going to come over here and point to my C drive. Now I'm going to come over here and change the path of this. Okay, I'm going to paste that in here. Then I'm going to use my actual HTML again, because this is something that I've made a HTML for. And let's close the Google Chrome so we don't have any browsers open. And let's come over here, hit Properties, grab the HTML, and keep in mind this is an .html, so I have to put the abbreviation behind it. Okay, so we're going to paste that in here and then put .html or .html. I typed it wrong. Okay, so this is going to pull up a web page that I developed on my website, and on my website you can easily go to it, and it works perfectly. Again, this is just giving you an example that you can pull up something in your C drive as maximum focus. Again, maximum focus is the key behind here. Let's save this, okay, and let's refresh our screen. Okay, so now we're going to refresh our screen, and you can see this pulls up the screen that I have for decryption. Now I have this where on my C drive where I can just use it anywhere I go. Again, it's really a functional thing, so I can decrypt any kind of source code or whatever the case may be. Again, when it comes down to it, I'm trying to give you, it's not important to understand the source code decryption right now. That's not the focus. The focus is using different things. Now you can call standard web HTMLs, you can call just about anything. You just point to IP addresses, just use different things, right? This is pointing to our C drive, so it's using the web browser for just about anything, right? So the focus of this and how to do this is in the VBA code. Well, understanding how it works and understanding how to change your application that you're pointing to using your shell. Now you can use this for many different things. I'm using this obviously to open up a web browser. You can use it for many different things, and then changing your path right here, right? So, and then what do you want it, maximum focus, or do you want it something else? So if we change right here, we can come over here and we want to back everything up, and then we'll come over here, put our comma, and you can change hide. You can go to minimum focus. You can go to normal focus. So if we change it to normal focus, let's come over here, change this to normal focus right here, and let's see what that pulls it up, or pulls up right now. So let's come over here, save our screen, come over here, pull that up real quick, and normal focus just so happens to be widescreen for me, right? So again, just keep in mind there's many different things you can do, and this does pull up a different instance every time, and you can change the code to make it come up, pop on top, but again, we haven't done that. We're just pulling up a web page using VBA code. So hopefully that was helpful, and again, I just wanted to show you one instance of pulling up a web page. You can actually do this on a web browser as well using a separate screen. What I'll do in another video is actually show you how to do that. So with all that said, hopefully that was very helpful and educational for you for learning how to do VBA code, pulling up web pages, and we'll see you guys on the next one.